Hi all, in this video I go over for loops. We've already done while loops, and now we're going to look at for loops. So in this class, in this project, we have a class that uses the getData class, which we've used before in order to get keyboard input. So let's look at this. So we have two fields here. One first we have a variable of the getData class and then a string variable. Then we have the constructor. And the first thing we do is in that variable of the getData class, we store a reference to a new getData object so that we can call its methods. Then we output, please enter a word. We use the aword method of the getData object to get a word from the keyboard, and we store it in the string variable word1. Then we output thank you. Okay? And so that just allows us to get a word to play with, which we'll do in this next section. So we have a bunch of for loop examples here. So let's first go over the basic structure of the for loop. You write the word for, then inside of parentheses, you set a integer variable equal to a starting value. This is sometimes called the initialization. Then you have a condition, and this is sometimes also considered the stopping condition. So as this loop will go, as long as LC is less than word1.length, right? So length, when we're dealing with strings, is the number of characters in the string. So as long as the variable LC is less than that, this loop will keep going, right? So basically, as long as this condition is true, whatever the condition is between the two semicolons, this loop will keep going. Then the final thing is an increment that changes the value of the loop variable, and it should change it so that it approaches the stopping condition, right? So if we were saying LC minus here, which would make LC shrink by 1, we would not be approaching the stopping condition. So that would not be good. That would create an endless loop. And we can, within the loop body, we can use the loop variable to, in this case, we're going to access the characters of the string one at a time, plus we're just printing out the variable. So let's actually run this quickly. And we'll do Spence. Thank you. So that was the constructor being run there. So now we'll run for loop examples. And there's the 0 letter in the string, the 1 letter, the 2 letter, so on down, right? That looks cool. So down here, it's printed backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So the 5th letter down to the 0 letter. So let's look at how that's happening. So that's this loop. So again, here's our initialization. In this case, we're starting our variable LC equal to the length of the word minus 1. Don't forget this minus 1, right? I did when I actually wrote this. It's so easy to do that. Because we start counting at 0, the last character is not at word.length, it's word.length minus 1, right? If we started at 1, it would be at word.length, but because we're starting at 0, it's word.length minus 1. So that's our initialization. This is our stopping condition. So as long as LC is greater than or equal to 0, it's going to keep going. When LC is less than 0, it'll stop. And here we're setting LC equal to LC minus 1, right? LC minus minus. So LC is approaching our stopping condition. It starts off at the length of the word and gradually approaches minus 1, which will stop this, Okay, that's why it printed out backwards in that second set of prints. Now, you don't have to count by just ones, either up or down. You can count by whatever you want. This says LC equals, this is a shortcut for saying LC equals LC plus 2. Right, so if I wanted to do LC equals LC minus 2, I'd do LC minus equals 2. You can actually, right, if you want to do it the long way, you can do it the long way. LC equals LC plus 2. Right, the 2 could be any integer value. So let's see what the third loop does. Follow up example. That ran the constructor. Enter a word. We'll do Spence again. And we will, that's the third loop, right? Because it's counting by 2s, it does the S, skips the P, prints the E, skips the N, prints the C, and then that, the next time is 6, which is, hits the condition that stops the loop, so it doesn't do any more. Okay? So, that's that one. Final one is just for fun, right? For some of you who are getting into programming a little bit more. So, this creates like a simple code cipher. So what this does is letters are actually stored internally in the computer as numbers. So like capital A is the number 65, capital B is the number 66, etc. These are called ASCII codes. So we can actually, using what's known as a cast, where you basically tell Java, hey, take one type of information and turn it into another. Now, you can't always do this, but this is the case where you can. So you can actually tell Java to take the character that's at word 1 char at LC, turn it into an integer, and then subtract 1 from it. So if I had the capital A, capital letter A, that would give me 65. The int would turn that into 65. I would subtract 1 from it, and I would get 64. Then I can recast back that number back to the character that's associated with the number 64. And that's what it will print. So let's see what that does. So again, we use Spence. And for lookup examples. So here you see this is Spence, except everything is one off, right? So instead of S, it's capital R. Instead of P, it's O, right? Instead of E, it's D. Instead of N, it's M, etc. Right? So very simple code. But there's a bunch of useful tools in producing it. So again, for loops, you initialize your variable, you have a condition which evaluates to true or false, and when it's false, the loop will stop, and you have an increment or a change to the variable that should approach the stopping condition, which will make this condition false. Okay? And you can obviously put more than one line inside of the loop body. If you want more than one line, just use braces. And right, you can put as many lines as you want in between the braces. Cool. Excellent. Okay. So I'm going to send you out this code so you have it to look at. But now I want to give you your assignment for this week, for this section. So I'm not going to show you the code here. Get data is just as it was in the other one. But what I want you to do is write a program using a for loop it will count the number of the 5 vowels in whatever text is entered. So let's go ahead and try this. So please enter some text. So once upon a time there was a big snowstorm, maybe on Friday. You can hope. When I hit return, aha, there are 5 A's in Once Upon a Time There Was a Big Snowstorm, 5 E's, 3 I's, 5 O's, and 1 U. Now, you have to set your program up so it will count both capital vowels and lowercase vowels. So you're going to need to use an OR statement, an OR in your an OR operator in your if statement. If you don't know how to do that, you can check on the internet or ask me or ask one of your classmates, okay? So, and I have covered that in past videos. So that's what you have to do. I'm not going to send you this code, but I may send you a screenshot of this so that you have a reminder. Or I may not. Not sure yet. Anyway, I will describe the project. I hope this is all clear. If you do have questions, please ask. Thanks.